What's poppin' gamers, it is me Leon with the brand new 7 quick tips video. Today we're going to be talking about custom trees. As I said in last week's cottagecore video, custom trees are a great way to make your landscape come alive. But a lot of people get the idea that they're really hard to do and just kinda shy away. I'm here to fix that. In this video you're going to see that custom trees are really not that bad. Once you get the hang of it, you can make some beautiful creations. Enough talk. Let's get right into 7 quick tips for making custom trees in Minecraft. 1. Start small. Trying to build a massive oak tree or a behemoth pine tree right off the bat is going to be intimidating and frustrating. If you're just starting out, then stick with a smaller scale. Try making a tree that's a similar size to a vanilla Minecraft birch or a spruce tree, but just with a few custom blocks and some creative leaf placements. You don't even need to start from scratch. Maybe take an existing tree and make a few selective block adjustments until you have something you're happy with. Here you can see I've added a bit more height and some extra branches to this vanilla birch tree, and now it's looking quite a bit better. 2. Pick out a log type, a planks type, and 2 leaf types. You don't want to restrict yourself too much with the blocks you use because you'll end up with boring, monotonous trees. But on the other hand, you don't want to go too overboard with your block palette, because then you'll overwhelm yourself with choices and end up with some sort of monstrosity tree that doesn't really look like it belongs anywhere. So my rule is as follows: 1 log type, 1 planks type, and 2 leaf types. Of course you can make an exception here and there, especially for larger trees, and you can add in some decor blocks that aren't wood or leaves, more on that later, but in general, sticking with that number of blocks in my opinion is a good way to go. For example, in this tree I built here, I used oak wood, spruce planks, and for the leaves I used spruce in the center of the tree and dark oak towards the outer branchy sections. Three, try to mimic a kind of tree that exists in the real world. It's hard enough to make a custom tree in the first place, but making one with no reference or inspiration is just brutal. Maybe if you know your trees really well, you can go off of your memory for a reference, but if you're a dummy like myself, then you might want to go online and find some reference images. You could look up real-life versions of the regular Minecraft trees like oak, birch, acacia, and spruce, or you could go with something that isn't in the game at all. Some of my favorite kinds of trees to recreate in Minecraft are palm trees and other kinds of tropical beachy trees, willow trees, and cherry trees. 4. Get creative with different wooden blocks. Despite what vanilla Minecraft might lead you to believe, you can use a lot more than just logs and leaves to create your trees. Stairs and slabs are a must when it comes to making a good tree, as they add a lot of detail in terms of the shapes and details that you can bring to your tree design. Just make sure the wooden plank type you use blends in with the log type, or else your tree's gonna look kinda weird. But even on top of that, try using fences, fence gates, and buttons, all for detail. Fences and gates can create thin twigs and branches that you wouldn't be able to make with logs, and buttons look like knots and dents in an old gnarly tree. 5. Glowberry vines add a lot to your trees. The Caves and Cliffs update has added glowberries and glowberry vines. In survival, you can find the berries in abandoned mineshaft chests, which you then plant and grow into these long hanging vines. They look amazing on a lot of different kinds of trees. In particular, willow trees, one of my favorite kinds to build, rely very heavily on glowberry vines for that droopy weighted effect. Even if you're not building a willow tree, having a few of these bad boys hanging down from the undersides of your branches can add some cool weight to your tree, and they add some lovely variety to your leaf and wood textures. And of course, you can bone meal a section of the vine to have it glow. This creates some amazing, enchanting, atmospheric vibes for your custom trees. Glowberries cannot be hung from leaves, so you'll have to place them on a log or some other block to get them to hang down properly. This just means you gotta get a little bit creative with how you use them. I often like to have tiny little glowberry bits hanging down from the trunk of the tree, but that's just my personal preference. 6. don't forget about gravity. When you're playing Minecraft, it's really easy to forget about the importance of weight and gravity in your builds. After all, this is a game where basically every block doesn't obey physics right. Just look at the water, trees, floating islands, and like everything else in the game. But if you want to make the most beautiful, realistic trees, you gotta account for gravity and how it affects the different parts of a tree. Let's start from the bottom. Trees, especially the big and old ones, don't usually grow perfectly straight up. They often lean to one side, curve around, or just straight up split into two trunks. Branches, when they get big and grow out, often start to lean down. Your branches should do this too. Have the smaller and further reaching branches droop off at a weird angle or even start pointing sideways. Last but not least, leaves droop too. One of my favorite things to do when making a custom tree is to have little bits of leaves drooping down from the main leaf clumps that sit on top of the tree. It doesn't work for every kind of tree out there, but if you're making a larger, deciduous tree with big, bushy leaves, having a couple bits hang down here and there can really add some nice weight to your build. 7. Practice a lot. No one masters a skill overnight. I'm sure you all know this already, but it's one of those things where you really have to keep it in mind as you're learning something new. Making custom trees, and well, Minecraft building in general, is really no different. For many people, it's really hard to understand the kinds of organic shapes and patterns that make a really good Minecraft tree. I know that when I first started playing Minecraft, I had no concepts of a lot of these core building fundamentals, and I had to learn a lot of things on my own over time. And the fact that this game is made up of a bunch of cubes does not help either. If you're planning on making custom trees in survival and you're not 100% confident that you're going to make something you love on the first try, then give it a shot in creative mode first. There's nothing wrong with making a test world to prototype your ideas and come up with something you really love. At the end of the day, there's always more to learn about Minecraft building, and trees are no exception. I've still got many things that I've never tried to build in this game, and it's really exciting, but also very intimidating. Just don't be afraid to enjoy the ride. Alrighty fellas, I hope this video was helpful and fun for all you radical gamers out there. If you enjoyed, please like the video and consider subscribing so I know to make more in this style. Until next time, have a wonderful day my dudes, and check back next week for more 7 quick tips. Peace out.